what do we have here? Is this going to be the race day shoe, the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2? So before we get going much further, I do want to say welcome back, or welcome to another episode of the Project 259, attempting to run my first marathon in, you guessed it, under 2 hours and 59 minutes. I think we're safe to say without any major issues, that should be okay. Coach kind of gave me a new goal of maybe aiming for that 250 mark. So that's going to be fun to do. Today we're going to be taking a first run in the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2. Excited about this shoe. I've been waiting for this shoe for a while. I really have enjoyed the first iteration of that, the Pro 1. I think Saucony really nailed down their Endorphin line. I am a new runner, so take all that with a grain of salt. I enjoyed the shoe, and it kind of seems like many other runners also enjoyed the line. So we got to pair it up. We got all kinds of different socks. Before we go any further, I do want to say thank you. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you enjoy this kind of content, marathon training or just training in general. And then also looking to get into a little bit more of the review scene as well, kind of share my thoughts and opinions on things out there. So like, it could be weightlifting, it could be running, maybe even get back into the cycling world probably as we move forward and past this goal. I am all about finding your best self and chasing down new goals. I'm gonna get laced up, finish getting ready to go on this long run. We are on a time window today, just trying to do everything like a race prep. So I do wanna be hitting the start button at precisely 6 a.m. Let's get laced up and we'll get going. We are back. The long run is finished up. The shoes performed phenomenally. Very happy with today's run. We ended up with 20 miles, just over 20 at a 6:32 average pace. I did pick it up for a few miles there at the end just to kind of get in the habit of running hard, or a little bit harder rather, in the tail end of a run. Today's video, I really want to spend some time talking about the new Saucony Endorphin Pro 2. So quick specs before we get going. The weight of this shoe in a men's size 9 is 7.5 ounces, which I do believe is 0.1 ounce lighter, at least reported, than the Pro 1. And then with I found a couple different numbers. So from Saucony's website versus a couple other ones, I think the numbers here are right. 39 in the heel and 31 in the forefoot, which gives it an 8mm drop. Plenty of cushion. Some of the things that I want to kind of touch on is this is a neutral running shoe. It is a high stack shoe. Purposes are going to be marathon racing in general, half marathon, 10K. It's a lightweight racing shoe. Let's start out with the upper and then we'll kind of work our way down. I'll give you some of my thoughts, my impressions on it, and then just real quick, this is not a comparison against the one, but there are a couple things I do want to touch on in reference to the Saucony Pro 1. So first thing, starting with the upper, this is a single layer mesh, which is inspired by their track spikes. So it's supposed to be form-fitting, a little bit of stretch, but really hugs the foot very nicely. I found that to be true in my run. One of the things I found when I first put this shoe on in comparison to the one is I just felt like this had a little bit better out of the box feel, where the one feels great, but it took a run or two to get there. This is a form fit upper, and then one of the biggest changes that you'll notice from the one is this new lacing system. I was a touch worried when I started lacing it up. Like, it fit great, but it just didn't have that same like really wrap over the foot with the laces. But once I kind of got it dialed, and I didn't have to readjust the laces at all once I got going, is it fit phenomenally. It was excellent fit, feel. I didn't feel like there was any play or any slop in there. This is a semi-gusseted tongue, and there's some improvements. There is a lot of breathability, very thin, very mesh upper. The tongue is very thin, but not enough, like I didn't get any digging in from the laces. It had a really nice wrap. This addition brings it down deeper into over the foot, so it kind of gave a nice kind of pull and wrap everything all together. And then one of the other things is this heel support. It's not very much, like you can see there, it's not a very substantial heel, but there is just a little bit in there just to kind of grab and hold the heel just that little bit. I think that's one of the complaints about some of these neutral road racing shoes, is that they're just a little too, I don't want to say sloppy, but there's so little material and structure to them that they don't provide enough support for some runners. I do run in a neutral shoe, and I found this to be completely wonderful. It felt great to me, and I was not wanting any more support, and I don't know if I'd say less either. Like, it just fit really, really well. Confidence inspiring through some sharp turns, ups and downs. I really felt stable and in control in that shoe. The midsole, we'll dive into the midsole here. This is what they're calling Power Run PB, which is, I guess, proprietary to Saucony, and it's going to be a PIBA-based foam. So it's extremely bouncy and very cushiony ride, where gives you that nice propulsion. It does condense very well, but then rebounds very quickly and really kind of wants to push you off into that next foot strike. And they also are incorporating what they call their speed roll technology to kind of help you roll through the gait cycle and the foot strike. So each, through their just engineer and design shaping of the shoe, it's going to help propel you into the next step as well. I found it to be work very well for my foot strike. I'm kind of like a midfoot striker, kind of land in that midfoot, and I found this to be very natural, very smooth in my running. So this is also a carbon plated shoe. So there is going to be a S-shaped carbon fiber plate that's going to run the length of the shoe. So you're going to get the nice cushion and bounce back from the foam. And then you're also going to get that it is a very rigid shoe, and you can feel that as you're kind of going through the gait cycle. And I found it to be a little bit more lively as the pace increased, as I got a little faster through the run. And then moving on to the outsole, I did pick up some party favors from the trail. Trees are dropping some stuff. Obviously, it's not going to have much, if any, wear after today's 20-mile run, but I do have experience in the Pro 1. I think on that shoe I'm 100-ish miles. I have to double check that, but it's virtually the exact same outsole as the one. The rubber is very thin. It kind of looks like a lot, but there is still a lot of, through these gaps, that is exposed PIBA foam. It's very strategically placed. I do like that they wrap it around all sides. It does last very long. I have found no issues with traction, sharp turning up or down. It just seems to give a lot of grip out there on the roads or trails, whatever you're running on. So the outsole is a carbon rubber, is what they're calling it. So it's thin, great traction, great wear. Some of the things that, for me, that I noticed were some of the biggest improvements. A big improvement was just that touch of heel structure, just to kind of really hold you in. Some of the things that I found to be some of the biggest improvements from the 1 to the 2. Now granted, the 1 is an amazing shoe. Excellent shoe. If you're wanting to save a little bit of money, the 1 is an awesome shoe. You're not gonna go wrong with the 1. Would I say it's worth it? I think for me, I think so. Because the price is so good compared to a lot of the other carbon plated marathon racers, it's already, like minus the Atreyu The Artist, which I did review, and I'll post whatever corner there, I'll post a card there so you can watch that review. So this lockdown system, the overall fit of the upper is, I think, the biggest thing. They nailed the carbon plate, the Piba foam, the outsole. None of that changed. That's all the same. So the biggest change was just dialing in the upper, and that's exactly what it was. It was taking something that was already really good and just dialing it in just that little bit more. So they knew they were onto something amazing, and it did not warrant sorry, there's something floating. It did not warrant a full redesign, and I'm so happy that they did not do that. So I have a very big decision to make. I'm 2 weeks out, very happy I got the long run in this shoe. So do I go with this shoe over the 1? I think so. So now, do I go with the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2 or the Atreyu? Go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on which shoe I should go with for the marathon coming up in 2 weeks from today. So I'm so happy that you stuck with me. Thank you for making it to the end of this review. This was just my first impression of the Saucony Endorphin Pro 2. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Do you plan on picking up this shoe, or are you waiting for maybe the Speed or the Shift 2 coming out from Saucony? I think the colorway is fantastic. They did some awesome stuff with it, really catchy. I'm happy with it. I don't really have any complaints about the shoe. I guess it could lose a little bit of weight, but at the same time, I'm happy with it. It felt great underfoot, so I don't know what they would do to lose that little bit of weight. No complaints from me. I'm happy. I'm excited to get this marathon on. If you'd like to check out more of the Project 259 and watch my training heading into my very first marathon with a goal of breaking 259, I'd love for you to stick around, check it out, and also let me know what you think of the shoe, the review. If you'd like to see more content like that, go ahead and consider clicking that subscribe button. I'd love to have you stick around, and we'll see you in the next one as we go forward. So with that, go forward in power, love, and a sound mind, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.